knew it. Also included in your infrastructure is your pay systems, your recognition and reward systems, your information technology systems. They are all a very important part of creating this customer loyalty. Ben Zander is the conductor of the Boston Philharmonic Orchestra. And several years ago, he made a recording of Mahler's Sixth Symphony. It has since become known as the best ever recording of that symphony. Best ever recording. And he did it with a group of part-time musicians. Imagine that, part-time musicians creating world-class, beautiful music. I asked Ben Zander what the key to his success was, what the key to universal collaboration and creating organizational teamwork is. And he said this. He said, the key is to get the oboe player to listen to the flute player. I said, what? The key is to get the oboe player to listen to the flute player. Now, what that means is, he said, if the oboe player is playing too loud, great passion but too loud, he said, I can make him be quiet. With the audience at my back, I can scowl at him like that and I can point my baton and he'll be quiet, but he'll lose his passion. The key is for me to get him to listen to the flute player. And when he or she listens to the flute player, then this person will not lose the passion, but will moderate what he or she is doing. The key is to get the oboe player to listen to the flute player. I call this lateral listening. Listening across geographic and listening across functional barriers. A question for you. If your organization were an orchestra, what would it sound like? I'd like to tell you a story about a car company in the United States called Saturn. It's really quite an amazing company, and it's a wonderful example of how to design an organization that routinely and on purpose delights its customers. Saturn was started in about 1986, a division of General Motors, and it was designed to create an automobile that would compete with the small cars that were being imported from Japan and taking a lot of our market share in the United States. It was a very successful result because what they did is they went to consumers, buyers of automobiles, and said, what is it that's most important to you in buying a car? And then they designed an organization that gave it to them. Then they went to the dealers and they said, what's important to you in receiving and selling these automobiles? They listened to them and they designed an organization that gave it to them. So they had the car buyers and the dealers very happy. Now, how good were they? Well, here's the story. About 6 years after they began their organization, they invited the people who had bought their cars to come to their plant where they made the cars and meet the people who had manufactured those automobiles. Now, this is a little ridiculous. I know that in many parts of Latin America and certainly in the United States, the process of buying an automobile isn't really that much fun. In fact, it can be painful. It can be not enjoyable. And so here was a car company sending letters to the people who had bought their cars saying, your vacation time, your travel expense, come to our place, which is hard to get to, and meet the people who made your car. We'll do a plant tour, and we'll give you some Coca-Cola and hamburgers and do a little entertainment for you. Well, I don't know what you do with your vacations, but this wouldn't be the way I would normally think of spending mine. How many people actually went to that, what they called homecoming? 43,398. They came from every state in the United States, every province in Canada. They came from Alaska and from Hawaii, and 31 people came from Taiwan, where they also sell Saturns. This is an amazing story. Why would people do that? Because they had done such an extraordinary job. And this is what I want to talk about in strategy number 4. Strategy number 4 is about how to create lasting customer enthusiasm. You see, the reason Saturn was able to do this is that their number one value, the value that they all live by, is this. We are dedicated to creating customer enthusiasm. So when they sent out this invitation, over 43,000 people accepted it. Now, Has this loyalty worked for them? You bet it has. When I wrote the book, Customer-Centered Growth, they were #2 in sales. They had the lowest service cost of any car. They had the highest resale value when they sold the car again. They had the highest customer retention, and they had the highest sales per dealer. So everybody was winning, the car owner, the dealer, and of course, Saturn, the company. What a wonderful story to be an example of how, by designing an organization from the outside in, you can create loyalty and success. Let me now talk about what we call the branded customer experience. And the branded customer experience is creating an experience like Saturn or McDonald's, where it is very predictable and very positive. We use the term brand, and a brand is what your brand or what your logo or what your name stands for. For example, if I say Volvo, many of you will think automatically of security and safety. If I say Disney, you will probably think of fun and enjoyment. This is what a brand is. A brand is a promise, but it's a lot more than a promise. It's a promise that is kept, and that is a very important differentiator. If you talk to most advertising agencies or marketing consulting organizations, they will talk about product, price, promotion, packaging, positioning. These are the P's of marketing, and they're all right. But what they have to do with is creating the promise. And we are suggesting that in order to create lasting customer enthusiasm, there's 2 more P's, and they're very important. 1 is people, and 2 is processes. It is the people and the processes that enable you to keep your promise. Let me talk about each. And as an example, I'll use Disney. Many of you have probably been to the theme park, one of the theme parks that is owned by Disney, Disney World or Disneyland. And I'll give you an example of a process. And this is something that you can do today, and I promise you that within a very short period of time, your customers are going to be feeling a better result from you, more enthusiasm. What Disney did is they said, what we want to do is create the best possible total experience for our customers. Now notice they didn't say, we're in the business of giving good rides and having people enjoy the rides. They said, we're looking at the total customer experience. So imagine putting the total customer experience, your total customer experience, in the middle. And then they said, what are all the different ways that we touch our customers? And they thought, well, let's see, there's parking when you come to park, there's buying a ticket, there's going on the rides, there's dining, there's going into the stores, there's using the restrooms, there's getting information. So all you need to do is say, what we want to do is have the best total customer experience, and then identify all the spots, or the touch points as we call them, where you are touching your customers. Now, the rest is easy. All you have to do is assign somebody each of those touch points and let them put a team together to figure out how to make that touch point world class. Now, let's go back to Disney. You might ask, how would you make parking world class? I mean, there's a big parking lot, there's stripes on the parking lot, and you put your car between the stripes. How would you make it more world class than that? Well, just listen to this. Imagine coming into Disney with your family at, say, 9 o'clock in the morning. You're very excited. Everybody's excited to go to Disney. You leave your car. You have a wonderful day in the park. At the end of the day, you come out, and what's the #1 problem that people have? They can't remember where they left their car. So you're kind of embarrassed, and you walk up and say, I can't find my car. And the Disney people are saying, excuse me, sir. And you say, I can't find my car. You're a little embarrassed. Well, they know exactly how to solve this problem. They say, when did you arrive? And you say, about 9 o'clock. And they say, well, your car will be in Mickey's section between rows E and G. And you are sitting there saying, how did you know that? Were you here when I came in this morning? Did you have a videotape? Do you have a photographic memory? No, 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 no. It's simple. It's a process. They simply time the beginning and the end of each line. when the cars come in. And so they know, if you give them approximate time, exactly where your car will be. It's routine to them. It's a process. But for you, it's magic. What's the second problem that happens when you go to get your car? Well, you've locked your keys in your car. Now you're really feeling stupid. You're going, you're really mumbling, I can't find my car. They say, sorry, sir, I can't find my car. Well, they have this little golf cart that will come up. They put you in the golf cart. They take you to your car. And believe me, these people are better than car thieves. They're in your car in a minute, and you have the keys in your hand. And again, you're saying, this is magic. It's not magic to them. It is a process that they've designed to create customer delight. Last year in Disney World, how many people locked their keys in their car? 19,000. So this is not a new problem for them. Now let's look at another organization that creates lasting customer enthusiasm, and that's First Direct. First Direct is a banking organization in England, and they're only about 6 years old. They came from their mother company, Midland Bank. And as the name suggests, direct, they engage in direct banking. So you can bank over the phone or using your computer. And they are a very, very successful company, because here's how they started their company. Not unlike Saturn, what they did is they said, what do our customers want? And they went out and they did a survey. And you remember in the focus, when it's find out what your key customers want, they discovered their customers want 4 things. Customers wanted speed, they wanted convenience, they wanted value for the money, and they wanted quality of service. As a result, First Direct designed an organization that creates those 4 things that customers value, and they deliver it every time, without fail. As a result, what has happened is that when the latest survey was done, or a recent survey was done, of the service provided by banks in England, if you could see this chart, it's amazing, because all the banks are here and First Direct is up there. All the banks are here and First Direct is up here with its satisfaction. And if you remember that chart about satisfaction and retaining customers, this means that First Direct will be a highly successful, fast-growing, profitable organization with loyal customers. Now, I'd like to just share one more piece of information with you that you can use to apply in your own organization, and this is called the value orientation frame. And here, this came from our research several years ago in different parts of the world, where we were able to interview customers in 6 different industries and find out what was important to them. What were they really looking for? And you know they're looking for many things. But among some of the things they were looking for is they would have a need for information and a need for a relationship. Now, a need for information means, tell me the information. Give me what I need to know about your organization and your products. I want the specifications. Show me the materials and the sheets. A need for relationship is a little different. A need for relationship is the person who says, look, you know your products and services better than I do. Let me tell you what my problem is, and you offer me the solution. You see the difference? Give me the information, I'll make the decision, versus tell me what, I'll tell you what my problems are, and you come with a solution. So let's look at a need for information that could be low for high, and a need for relationship that could be low or high. If a person has a low need for an information and a low need for relationship, then the relationship is a transactional relationship. Best example of this would be a vending machine. You want to buy a Coca-Cola, you put the money in, you press the button, you get your Coca-Cola, and there's not a lot of information that's exchanged, and certainly not a relationship going on there. The internet or e-commerce certainly is another area where it's much more transactional. Not a lot of need for information, not a lot of need for relationship. But let's say a person has a high need for a relationship. I'll give you an example. I'm a skier. I like to ski. A couple of years ago, I was buying a new pair of skis, and I went into the ski store, and this gentleman, salesman, started showing me all the skis and talking about the technical aspects of lamination and torque and twist. And finally I said, stop, time out, no more. And he finally stopped, and I said, look, here's where I ski. Here's how often I ski, here's how well I ski, and here's what I want my new skis to help me do that I'm not doing very well now. Which skis should I buy? He said, that one. I said, wrap it up, we're going to go. You see, the problem was he was treating me like an information buyer, when fact, I was a relationship buyer. I didn't care about lamination. I just wanted to ski better. Now, I'm also a percussionist. I play the drums. And when I buy drums, I am an information buyer. I want to know all about the specifications. There's a big clue here to being with your customers. The same customer will be in a different quadrant, relationship, transaction, information, or when they're both strong, partnership, depending on what he or she is buying. The other important factor here is that when we did our research, we found that about 25% of